You got to preserve your players. Again, this isn't a sprint. This is a marathon.
This
Like
is what
to
I'm saying.
compare, it's like LeBron James. When you see LeBron James playing in the regular season, he's not giving up 100%.
Recap of the Chiefs and the Chargers game, man. 27-24 came down to the wire. I ended up like falling asleep a little bit like within the fourth quarter. I don't know why. I like dozed off and I woke back up and I saw Justin Herbert holding his ribs and then he threw a touchdown. So, with that being said, how'd y'all feel about the game, man? I liked it. It was everything that we thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Listen, it was a good matchup. One of the things I said is you can't count out the super scroll. You know what I mean? We know Pat Mahomes. He went in there. He had amazing throws, sidearm throws, running around. Again, like I said, when he plays, it's like you're watching someone playing backyard football. And it didn't change.
Straight up.
The Chargers defense, we all talked about on the pregame show, a very formidable front. They had J.C. Jackson, but that did not matter. And again, he came back from injury. A lot of people like to talk about how J.C. Jackson got burned. My guy had just came back from surgery, getting an extra bone removed from his foot. Give him some time to come back. Don't think that he's not a good cornerback anymore. Don't think that, his prime has passed. It's not.
Right.
Like, he's still getting back into football shape, first of all. And if you actually watch that play, he had pretty good coverage.
Mm-hmm.
He had very good coverage on that wide receiver. But, you know what I mean? Like, he didn't make the play. It is what it is. But Kansas City, I think I was the only one on the panel who picked them. They were victorious.
You were.
You were.
I would before you give me any credit, I have to say this. I slept on the Kansas City defense.
We all did.
Yep, they came
across the board.
Karlaftis, Chris Jones. I forgot the defensive back that ended up catching the interception. They all did great. I mean, like they came.
Jalen. What's that dude's name?
I can't remember. If I'm not mistaken, he was the one that was just homeless maybe like 3 months before.
No, he was the one that was working at. He was like 7th round pick, I believe. He was the one that was like working at Publix. And then because of McDuffie being out, he got elevated. And, what a way to celebrate with a 99-yard pick six.
Yeah.
Tied for franchise longest.
Yeah, that's a great story. Again, defense showed up. They surprised everyone. We discounted their defense. And for Kansas City, that's something on the positive side for them to go forward with. They have a bright future with their defense, and they're young. And they're only getting better. But for San Diego... For San Diego, it was kind of surprising. We talked about when Coach Chuck Pagano was going through the film tape, and one of the things he says is, you have to know where Austin Eckler is at all times. That was the one thing that San Diego failed to do. They failed to use Austin Eckler. They trusted Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert did great. But again, if he has support, he has options, give him that support. Let him use those options. Eckler should have taken off so much pressure, and they didn't use him enough. We all know what happened to the right side of that line. One Strong Thurman, whatever his name is, Storm, whatever your name is, the worst offensive guard in the NFL comes in, and as it happens, Justin Herbert gets hurt on that play. San Diego.
Jalen Watson was the guy that had the 99-yard.
Jalen Watson, hey, respect to him. He needs to get his name out there. He needs that credit. But
Jalen Carter's on Georgia's sore.
It was a great game. San Diego didn't pull away with it. Justin Herbert's hurt now. We'll see what happens. But hey, man, great win for Kansas City.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. What you think, Sora?
I'd like to say once again, I am now undefeated with my bold predictions. I said that they would shut down Eckler for 100 rushing yards. And I was right. And you can even argue with total yards.
What was your bold prediction, Vic? I can't remember.
Mine was Herbert would stay under 300, and it would be 2 interceptions. He got over. I think he was like 333. That was
he
close.
Was 334 with an interception.
That pick six was monstrous. That deflated the team.
Yeah, it did.
I said he was going to have 4 touchdowns, and he had 3. So,
but I mean, yeah, it was a good game all in all. I know people are wanting to give Everett a lot of crap for that pick six showing no effort, but I mean, if you look at it, he's trying to wave out because that dude's gassed. He was the entire focal point of that drive. He was just trying to get out, and I don't want to say Herbert should have seen that he was gassed and picked somebody else to throw to, but I mean, if he was the hot route, he's the hot route. But I mean, you can't really put blame on that. And speaking of putting blame on Herbert, I'm saying let's not. But I mean, dude's got such grit. I mean, he had, what was it, like sprained What was the MR? What did the MRI say? Like
It was
sprained rib.
cartilage, and there's like small breaks in the rib.
Yeah, small breaks in the ribs, and I mean you could see he was uncomfortable too. After every throw,
It was like
he's
fractured
holding his
rib cartilage
yeah.
or something like that.
And
He was
after every
winching on the
throw,
side.
yeah, after every throw, the man's holding his rib. That's and dude still threw for a touchdown. Dude still was in the game. And again, one thing though that I can agree with was one thing that I can agree with though, with you, Vic, was kind of when they started after Herbert got his ribs hurt. That was when you saw Eckler the most, and it still wasn't even running. It was still the screenplays, or the wheel route. So it was just like, and it was the same thing we saw last week too. It's like, you've got Austin Eckler, a really good running back. Use him.
But that's on the coach Brandon Staley. You have to understand what you were talking about with the tight end with Everett. That's a perfect example, because before that play, Everett is literally trying to call himself out, saying he's tired, his hands up. They're telling him,
that's a good point. I was going to bring that up.
They tell him, no, stay on the field. If your coach knows that, as your head coach, whether it's your offensive coordinator running the play, whatever it is, you have to have the presence of mind to say, hold on, let's call a timeout if need be. If you have this play in your head, you want it so bad, let's call a timeout. Or no, let's get him out. Let's sub him in for someone else. You can still run the same play. And if not, you can bring Everett back. You know how they do it all the time. If you feel the need, you can run that same play again, try something else. But again, Everett was gassed. Everyone on the sideline should have seen that. You can blame Everett, because he's not in condition, whatever. The kid was out there doing work. He needed to get out. They didn't notice it. They didn't really care. Just like that's the issue with San Diego right now. They're just trying to press on. No matter what, they're just trying to press on. They need to understand sometimes you gotta hold back. You gotta get off the gas sometimes.
Especially when you also have Donald Parham as your backup tight end. Like, I know not a lot of people are gonna be like, who?
Yep.
Well, they weren't running a bunch of 12 personnel sets anyway. So I don't know. They were running 11 personnel most of the night. So just put Parham in and sub Everett out. Or if you want to run 11 personnel again, put Parham in and then put out another wide receiver or something. I don't understand that.
Better yet, why not create a plan to get Mike Williams, who was dominating early, to get him open, bring him inside, move him around. You didn't even do that. They didn't even think of that.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
And that's a big target if he's in the slot. No matter what, move him to the slot.
Yeah,
that's a big target to deal with.
It's stuff like that where I keep saying the Chargers could potentially miss the playoffs, because that's exactly what happened to them last year. It's going to be doomed to repeat if this keeps up.
It's one thing to go, full speed ahead, but you have to understand, you got to put your players in good position. And that's understanding where they're at in the game. Again, you've seen him try to call himself out. You should have gave him that time, one playoff, come back in and keep on. I understand you were in a position where you needed that first down. You know what I'm saying? Like, timing was good. They were running the hurry up offense. But at the same time, you also have other weapons. And that's the thing that San Diego forgets. You have other weapons that can get you that first down. You have multiple weapons. It doesn't have to be Justin Herbert doing everything.
That's a good point. Sorry, I'm eating. I haven't had breakfast in the morning.
That's the coach moment.
Yeah. So, this game, regardless of how we slice it, it was good for Thursday night football. So, it's one of those games where you tell people, oh man, if you ain't got Amazon Prime, you might be missing out. You know what I'm saying? You just got to roll with the punches. You just got to roll with the fact that, because next week they're going to do the Steelers and the Browns. You know what I'm saying? So, and that's another AFC North AFC North matchup that we need to look out for. Like, this is all great stuff, man. Like, if this game was very, very lopsided, then Fish and Slay's not here. So we had to meme him. When you don't show up, this is what happens.
I'm glad I showed up.
But yeah, man, I love Justin Herbert. I think he's got a bright future ahead of him still. He's still on that upward trajectory. If you got to sit him out this week, sit him out, man. I do not want to see hero ball being played. And I know some people feel a little differently than that. It's too early in the season to have this dude get attacked. Because what's their next game? Their next game is against... Hold on, I'll pull out the schedule right now.
I was about to say, let me do the same real quick.
Their next game is against the Jaguars. And you would hate him to get even hurt worse in the game against the Jaguars, bro.
Yeah.
Like, if that's the game that he, like, injures himself more where he's out for a season or something, then you're going to be like, why did we start him against the Jaguars? That should be easy. They're going to destroy them. I don't see how the Jaguars win that game. Even who's their backup quarterback? Chase Daniels?
Chase Daniels.
You're fine.
If it were me, if the injury is, as serious, like I said, San Diego needs to start taking care of their players. If the injury is that serious and they don't want to tell anyone, I wouldn't be even subjected to say, hey, we'll hold Herbert out. It's Jaguars, you start Daniels. If there's any issues, then Herbert's there to come in. If not, he has a week off. You got to preserve your players. Again, this isn't a sprint. This is a marathon. Like, to compare, it's like LeBron James. When you see LeBron James playing in the regular season, he's not giving up 100%. He's saving himself because once you get to the playoffs, you're getting playoff LeBron. It's a totally different player. And that's the mindset that San Diego needs to have with their players. All right, in the regular season, yeah, we want to give it our all. But again, we don't want to do too much where we're going into the playoffs being hurt or going into the season. Early on, game 2, having our quarterback, our captain, our leader being hurt for possibly what could be most of the season, half of the season. We don't know how long this could linger on. You got to give your guys time.
I agree. Any final thoughts, Sor?
No, I mean, again, kind of like what you were saying, just don't play hero ball. Chase Daniels is valuable backup, especially going up against Jaguars, no offense. But, I mean, going up against Jaguars, he should be able to hold his own. Also, again, you have Austin Eckler.
Keenan Allen return. Is he on IR?
Keenan Allen should return next week, yeah.
But even though, then look at, you got Keenan Allen, you got Mike Williams, you got Josh Palmer, you have Austin Eckler. I believe their backup running back, Jackson. You have so many options. Why are you focusing on your quarterback? Sony Michel, even though Sony will say
that's right, he did go to church.
I forgot about that. But
I forgot about that too.
But again, you have so much that your quarterback can distribute to, but at that, you have a running back that can take so much pressure on. You have an issue with the right side of your line. Come on, man. You got to put 2 and 2 together, and you got to do it faster.
You got to make it do what it do, man. You got to make some executive decisions. And what's so good about this, and probably where his mind's going to go and be like, oh, man, we should probably start Justin next week. You get a long week now. Playing a Thursday game. What's their game next week? It's on Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Should be, yeah.
Sunday, they play at home, so they don't have to travel.
4 o'clock game.
4 o'clock game. You got all the rest time in the world. Allow him to rest that time and start Chase Daniel. It's going to be an interesting conversation going into next week. It's not like Justin Herbert's not going to put up the stats because he missed that one game last year and still lit everybody up. So just let him rest, man. I don't think you need to play hero ball here.